Good morning, Zio here. And you know what today is? Today is Sunday, which means it's time for our Sunday gaming roundup, where we go ahead and we talk about things that, we talked about throughout the week. Maybe, make some updates if any updates have arrived, especially anything notable, and occasionally talk about other things. So, I guess with all that, you want to be friends? So earlier this week, we started off with talking with D-Pad Chad and the ADL. Apparently, the ADL has decided they're going to set their sights onto Steam because Steam needs some kind of trust and safety council thingy to, I don't know, monitor stuff and do things that the ADL thinks that Steam needs, but Steam kind of already has. Like being able to curate the content that you see and other things, because, it's not like you can't do that already in Steam. Yeah. So that was a thing. Of course, the ADL thinks that apparently users are embracing extremist ideologies on Steam just because they got a group of people who are, I guess. I don't know. But this picture here, right here, we didn't talk about this because I don't think I really noticed it at the moment. But apparently this is a visualization, shows a friend mapping of a sample of nearly 200 users on Steam who embrace or propagate Nazi and white supremacy ideology. Of course, the real question is, then you have to go through and ask, what exactly does that mean? Because, maybe if this was like the 90s, if you told me that somebody was a Nazi or a white supremacist or something, that would be clear cut, right? I would understand exactly what you're talking about at that point in time and been like, oh, that's somebody I should probably stay away from or not really talk to or do anything of that nature or whatnot. In today's language, however, that's a completely different story. That makes me go, oh, are they really? Are we sure on that? Or do they just have some kind of belief you don't believe in or something like that, that just, you think if somebody doesn't believe this particular thing, it automatically makes them into some kind of supremacist of some sort. That sort of thing, because that's the kind of age that we live in. But apparently, these accounts were friends with a total of 14,935 additional unique users on Steam and formed a total of 16,967 friend connections. Each of the 814 red dots in the visualization represents a user at least 2 friendships on Steam, with a total of 2,856 friendships between these users. Of course, again, is one of those things that I have to ask, how did you get this information, for one? 2, what exactly is a Nazi or a white supremacist in this context? Because they could be going, hey, PewDiePie's a white supremacist, right? Or a Nazi, because they've done this in the past. Maybe not the ADL specifically, but other groups out there have, like the news, for instance. Because, he made some jokes, made fun of Hitler or whatnot, which is the weirdest things. You make fun of Hitler, and suddenly you're a Nazi or a white supremacist because you've made fun of the dude. Or you cracked a joke or something. That is like the most asinine thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life. But, they take that, right, and say, okay, well, he's got X amount of friends on Steam, or he's got the max allowed amount or something like that, which means he's directly responsible for X amount of people being introduced to this ideology that we considered a supremacist movement, when in reality, he's not a supremacist. You see what I'm saying here? Anyway, yeah. So that was a thing. It was a good long chat, by the way. It was a good 40-some minute video that me and D-Pad Chad recorded together. You should go check it out because we touch on a lot of different things about the ADL Steam, among other things. So if you hadn't checked that out, go ahead and check it out. And of course, if you're looking for a Let's Play, he's over on BitChute. Give him a, go over there and take a look, see what you can find. Maybe you'll find something fun like Mario or something. So let's see, what else did we talk about? I forgot. It's been a very long week. How have you been doing anyway? Did you get your coffee? Because I did. I need it. Oh my gosh. It has been one very long, hectic week. So the next day we talked about Diablo 2 Resurrected. Sorry, Resurgence. I don't know where I keep wanting to say Resurgence. I did that yesterday too at work, talking to a couple of people, and was like, "Did you hear? They're remaking Diablo 2. It's Diablo 2 Resurgence. Resurrected." Anyway, so yeah, they're going to be doing that. I have some concerns. I'm not going to go through all those concerns now, but it's the rumored company who's apparently going to be taking on this project, because I guess I don't really know a whole lot about them other than what I looked up after, of course, hearing their name as being the rumored company that Blizzard essentially is going to be outsourcing the project to. So if you hadn't taken a look at that, you might want to go take a look at that. Maybe you have some similar concerns, maybe you have other concerns, or maybe you could put some of my concerns to rest. I don't know. But you should let me know. Exactly. Then we talked about review manipulation in The Last of Us Part 2, because if you notice, the game isn't exactly out yet, but it has a perfect 5-star rating, and right now at 940 ratings. And we talked about essentially how that can be manipulative, essentially. We first hit it as a, is Sony manipulating the reviews, correct? Right? So we came at it at that angle because that's, of course, what everybody else is talking about. There's perfect scores on it. Sony must be manipulating. And in one possibility, it could be. We took a look at Cyberpunk 2077, which also has a perfect score of over 1,000 ratings at that point in time. And that game, of course, is not out yet. It won't be out for a little bit. But it also had a perfect score. So either Sony is manipulating all the scores to give them perfect ratings, or B, you have the option to rate this before you actually get it, just because you've already, pre-ordered it digitally, I guess. That's the best way to put it. And we talked about how that it's in itself is manipulative and probably should not be done. Like, I would like to see these rating systems completely disappear before a game launches, to where they can't use these, or they don't use these until a game officially launches, for people to properly go back and rate it, especially if you're going to buy something digitally, right? And with the way that things can be tracked and stuff, you can go open up Steam. Steam tells you exactly how long you played it or whatever. And for it to go track that essentially and be like, okay, after you've played at least, 5 hours of this game, we'll unlock the rating system, allowing you to rate the game, that sort of thing. I think that's a pretty good justification. Plus, it would also prevent things like review bombs, unless somebody has legitimately played the game long enough to be able to access the rating system to leave a proper review or rating, or just a straight up empty 5-star and nothing else, if that's what they want to. But at least then there's some kind of level of control over it at that point, to where you're not going up, well, it was obviously review bombed. Well, yeah, it was also review bombed in the opposite direction. So, you don't have those fights going on back and forth or anything like that. You definitely don't have something like this. But essentially, what it boils down to is, if you've already pre-ordered the game, they've given you the ability to rate the game, and you've not even touched the game yet. And that in itself is a problem, in my opinion. So you can let me know what you think down below. And then we talked about Billy Mitchell, the King of Kong. Apparently he is suing a few people. It would seem he has decided that he's going to be suing a few people for defamation. because he doesn't like being exposed for cheating when he was using, in my opinion, of course, allegations here, but in my opinion, he was using MAME for a a world record. And then there is evidence out there that essentially does show off how he was using, or the differences between the loading of the arcade cabinet on, say, the left of the screen here, MAME, how MAME actually loads up and boots up, and what they captured from the arcade cabinet and how it's booting up similar to exactly the same way as MAME would boot up. Kind of. Look, I'm sorry, you can sit there and deny not using it all you want, but unless somebody else installed it into the thing and you didn't know it, I don't know if I could really say I don't know. I mean, heck, even if that was the case, if I was to see this myself after thinking I set a world record, and then I would probably be really, really ticked off, because at this point I'd think I'd be like, yep, somebody swapped it out, I didn't know, and that invalidates all my hard work. So time to go figure out who that a-hole is, But we talked about that. Then we skipped Friday because work has been really, really hard. I've had issues this week. Anyway, The Calling is back. The Calling. Have you ever heard of The Calling? I'm sure you have. You know The Calling. The Calling is like, it was that game that was such a hit that literally nobody ever played it. Yeah, that game. Okay, so a few people played it apparently. But anyway, The Calling is back. It's a battle royale, and I don't even know where to start. You should just go watch the video on that. Just know that it's got the best monetization ever known to man that I have ever seen on the face of the planet. But for our extra, I've got to ask, you want to be friends? Nice channel you got there. Want to be YouTube friends? What? No, you don't? Anyway, so this thing is a thing that's happened. If you've noticed under my videos, as well as other people, there have been various bots recently. A lot of bots. I have seen calls, Tim, Tom, Logan now, Azek, I think was one. It was like AZERK or something like that, and a few others. And they would essentially show up within minutes, and they would say something like, "Hey, I'm here before 200. Want to be friends? You want to be YouTube friends? Or nice video? Want to be friends? Awesome video. Keep up the good work. Want to be friends?" That sort of thing. Well, apparently that has been linked to some kind of hacking gig that's going on. Now, a lot of people out there are saying, don't interact with this comment because, interacting with it, and this is a bit of fear-mongering, in my opinion, of what they're doing, but apparently interacting with the comment itself will immediately get you hacked. They're somehow hacking you because you liked the comment, or you responded to the comment, or you hearted the comment, or you subscribed to the channel, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that's not the case. All right. I just don't see them having the ability to properly do that, or doing that at all, to be honest. I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that. Now, I know back in the day I've heard of things where, if you private messages with people and people could get a hold of your IP and other things and use that to directly hack your system and all this other stuff, or direct hack into your computer when security was a lot worse and all this other stuff, and everything was going over dial-up and really slow DSL and among other things, and AOL was the way to message. But this is not that kind of system. These comments are done on, like, Google servers or whatever, and into the interweb and stuff like that. That'd have to be one kind of massive. I'm not really sure how to go about doing that, to be totally honest. I just know it's not possible as far as I'm aware. However, since I just ran my mouth for like 3 minutes on it, it could make you a target, right? You interact with this or you go subscribe to the channel, it could turn you into a target. There is a way that this person was hacking, right? And I say was because I woke up this morning and some interesting things have happened. But yeah, this person was obviously hacking people somehow and had a very massive bot network using old accounts, using new accounts, using accounts that were hacked to make it look like legitimate users. And, you know, that was a big threat to a lot of people, especially smaller channels that aren't going to have any help whatsoever. None whatsoever. I mean, it's hard enough for some of the larger channels to get help. We've seen people with thousands of subs, you know, and a lot of engagement and everything else like that, huge fan base, but they still took, you know, upward to a month to react and fix the channel or get it back to the users if they did at all, because that's just how YouTube is. But I woke up this morning and I looked at my comments and noticed that I don't see any of these comments anymore. They're all gone. It's like they've been nuked from orbit. I haven't really looked into it yet because it's still early. I've recently woken up and I got coffee to drink. I need more coffee. But yeah. So there's a good chance that maybe something has been done. I guess once it finally came to getting YouTube's attention, they actually paid attention to this one, and there's a good chance that they nuked the crap out of whatever was going on, or this person is turning tail and running and getting rid of everything, you know, in an attempt to hide their tracks. I hadn't really checked up the channel yet, see if it was still there or anything, so yeah, go ahead and just, I guess, interact with at your own risk. It's a good way to put it. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will talk to you later. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.